We're agile.
Especially when you guys make prayers.
Yeah, no. It does pretty hell.
All right, we'll call this Thursday, December 15th, 2022, regular school board meeting to order. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chair, I've got a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment presentations under Roman numeral 3 and the educational feature under the superintendent's report be moved prior to public comment.
Sounds good. We got a motion.
Yes.
Have a second.
Motion, sorry.
Motion and second. Dr. Arbogast will be moving those agenda items to the top.
Thank y'all.
And this also approves the agenda per the amended motion. All those in favor?
Mr. Chairman, if you join me down below, we'll recognize our Christmas card winners, please. At this time, we would like to recognize our Christmas card winners, contest winners of each school. We have a certificate to award to each student. We also have a goodie bag for each student. In the goodie bag, there's stickers, there's pens, there's notepads, and there's also a little Christmas tree ornament that has their picture of the drawing that they did on that, so that they can use that at their leisure in the Christmas tree if they want. So with that, we're going to recognize, whichever one you give me first. We would like to recognize from Eastern Elementary Middle School, we would like to recognize Sochi Aldaz. If I'm not sure everybody, but we do have their Christmas card, and again, they also will have 4. These are the cards that we sent out to divisions and other individuals. Their pictures, all the pictures of students really are on those as well. So well, let's congratulate Sochi for that. Sochi, come on up here. Congratulations. Thank you. This is yours. This is yours as well. So I each want to thank you and congratulate you. So come over here. Come over here and stand right here and we'll get your picture, okay? Next, we would like to.
She didn't get her round of applause.
Next, we would like to recognize Liberty Brackenridge, representing Marysville Elementary Middle School. And next, we'd like to recognize Sadie Stoudenmeyer. If you would come forward, please. Congratulations. And we'll come up here and get your picture taken. Sadie, come on up here. Come on. Stand right here in between us. Come over here. Stand right here. Please.
Don't be bashful. Come on.
Set your bag up behind you here. Hold these back so everybody can see it.
Let's get these open.
So everybody would
Hold them in front of you so they can see what you did.
you come on up front. There you go.
Hold them up there.
Congratulations, great job.
One more, Jason, move just a little bit to your right.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
Congratulations, good job. Very nice.
Good job, guys.
Move along to the educational feature, if that's all right. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. White to allow him to introduce who he has brought with him tonight to do the Giles Tech Center educational feature. Mr. White?
Thank you. Thank you all for having us this evening. Let's come down here and speak a little bit about some things going on at the Tech Center. We have Mrs. Riley and some of her students with their early childhood education program. As you all know, this is the first year of this program. I'm very proud of the program. Things are going on there with it. And just thank you all for the support of starting that program. So I want to go to Mrs. Riley. Thank you all.
Thank you for having us today. We really appreciate you inviting us. Thank you to the school board and Dr. Arbogast for making this program a reality. We've gotten a lot of support from the community, from local preschools, from teachers that said this program has been needed for a long time. So thank you so much. I wanted to thank a couple people without whom we could not exist. My advisory board is Emily Perkins from Giles County Head Start, Helen Wallace, Kids and Company, Lynn Hill, Giles Early Education Project, Sheila Morrison, Imagination Station, and Allison Robertson from Macy Preschool. We would also like to thank Connie Blevins. She has taught our students first aid and CPR. She's one of our nursing instructors. And we would also like to thank Officer JJ from Macy, who has provided fingerprinting for our students. So today I brought a few juniors from my class. We have Lily Tickle, Haley Shepard, and Jessica Ham, and Amaya Perfader. We have prepared a little slideshow for you, so here we go.
I would like to start our presentation off with the following quote. Investing in high quality early childhood education and educators working in all settings produces positive outcomes for children, families, and the economic future of our country. During this 2020 census taken by the state, there's roughly 460,000 children 5 or younger living in Virginia. 13% of those children are able to receive child care in Virginia. 66% of those children have both parents working in the workforce, and there's a challenge with trying to find childcare. And that can, underlying factors of those might be the affordability of childcare, teachers' low compensation, and the 47% of people who live in Virginia, childcare deserts. So ECE is a very important part of many people's lives, and here's why. A newborn baby's brain is about the quarter size of an adult's brain, and it'll double by the child's first birthday. This means it will grow complete 90% of its growth by the age of 5. So this is a very critical window of development. The National Education Association states that children who receive early childhood education before the age of 5 have many benefits. This is why our program is so important.
So far in class, we've learned about the different types of different areas of human development, and we've also learned a different variety of childcare programs, such as Montessori schools, Head Start, parent co-ops, and family support. And we've also learned how to manage a safe environment for the kids and what to do. Okay, so the careers that early childhood education can prepare you for is different kinds of teaching professions, and if you aren't wanting to go into a teaching profession, you can go into pediatrics, psychology, social work, and family support. Committing to an early childhood education career means you help young learners reap lifelong benefits from success in elementary school to potential lifelong earnings.
These are the certifications, and one of them is a card that we got for completing the courses. And the first one is the first aid and CPR card that we got. And in that course, we learned how to administer epinephrine, how to use an AED, how to wrap wounds with bandages, and how to properly take off gloves. And then that's the certificate that we received for the completion of the Virginia Pre-Service Training for Childcare Staff course. And in that course, we learn the developmental stages of children, how to have space arranged to fit your program goals, and how to have an all-inclusive environment, meaning including every child no matter what their differences are. And then the last one over there is the certificate we received for the DSS training course we did. And in that course, we learned that all child care workers are legally mandated to report any suspected child abuse or neglect. We also learned what child abuse and neglect is and how to recognize and respond to it.
We have visited this Child Development Center for Learning and Research at Virginia Tech and the New River Community College Head Start. At Virginia Tech, we observed how children play and get into their routines as they arrive. The teachers allow the children to get settled in before starting class. We were able to talk to the center's director, who told us what the CDCLR focuses on, namely a play-based curriculum. Virginia Tech students come to observe and conduct field studies. At the New River Community College Head Start, they have a lovely outside play area for the children. The play area includes a sandbox for children to get their hands dirty and feel new material. We also learned about the post-secondary education options. Both places have a very comforting and safe environment. Imagination Station had a mini fall festival in October where they offered activities such as face painting and pumpkin painting. Some of us assisted with these activities. We took lids off paint containers, carried pumpkins outside to dry, cleaned up paint that was on the floor and or the tables, and we helped wash children's hands. This festival helped each of us gain understanding on how things would be in our work-based learning.
And work-based learning is a huge part of our program. So starting in January, we're very indebted to Head Start and Macy Preschool, Imagination Station, and Kids and Company for hosting our students to gain experience in the field. And we wanted to thank them for doing that for us. Thank you for listening today. You have been a fantastic audience. If you have questions, maybe my students can answer them. Otherwise, we'll wish you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bring like a picture.
Oh,
You would?
picture?
Yeah. Come on, ladies. All right, make sure you can see the camera. Or the phone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice
Thank
job.
you.
Good job.
Good job, ladies.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you, thank you, Mr. White. Next, I would like to turn it over and invite Ms. Bogus to introduce who she's brought with her today from Giles High School's educational feature.
We are also very appreciative of the opportunity to come and highlight some of the things going on at Giles High School. Had several people interested in being the highlight for us, but we decided Katie Wright and one of her NRCC math courses decided that they would like to do a project on life budgeting, so I'll turn it over to Katie.
Just want to thank you for giving my students the opportunity to kind of show their hard work. We have Macy Steele, Josh Makiff, and Chance Downer. They are enrolled in my NRCC Math 154, which is called Quantitative Reasoning. This is the first year that we've taught this course. And currently, Giles High School offers 9 in-person dual enrollment courses for them to get credit in, college credit. We specifically teach 4 math courses through New River, 2 of which are sort of an engineering path. The other 2 is sort of a business liberal arts path. And this new course, Quantitative Reasoning, has a lot of financial literacy things. They work through quite a few things like proportional reasoning, modeling, financial literacy, and logic. So it really focuses on all 4 of those things. Throughout this course, we have actually worked on a life budget project since the beginning. It is in 4 parts. So this course is about, financial literacy. Can they perform a budget? Can they make a budget? And the first step of that budget is that they have to come up with an income, and a location. So they're picking a profession and the area in which they want to do that. Second part is they look at the cost to buy a vehicle. So they research things like insurance, taxes, registration, the cost of the vehicle. Third is buying a house or renting, actually, depending on what area they chose their profession in. And all of these parts are connected because in the end they put it all together and is it really sufficient for what they chose as their career? And can their income sustain that? So first part, income and location, they're choosing their residency. They choose their career, and then they have to do some research through the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics where they look at a specific area. And that's just information compiled to whatever it is they chose as their profession. They had to determine their total net pay based on their taxes, any withholdings, and then they could look at it monthly, they could look at it yearly.
I chose to be a registered nurse in Giles County. I also chose to live in Harrisburg, but not in a neighborhood. And after all the taxes, it ends up being $56,000 a year. I chose to do the average because in Harrisburg, as an RN, it can be anywhere between $54,000 and $97,000. So after taxes, that's what it is yearly.
Change up our profession a little bit here.
I chose to be a history professor in Boston, Massachusetts. And like Macy, I also took just the average salary. Came out to be about almost 80 grand. And after all the taxes and stuff, they came out to be about 46 grand.
And similar.
Not changing the profession. I chose to be a history professor. However, I'm going to teach history online, so I will stay here in Giles County. So overall, I'm going to make a little bit more money than Chance would, but that's just because taxes here are a little bit lower, and the numbers are fairly similar.
So that was the first part. They had to look at their area, the profession they chose. Second part, which they've already completed this part as well. They had to choose a vehicle appropriate for their budget that's reliable, meets their needs if they're traveling, depending on where their location is if they want to work. They had to gather information like the make and the model, the current mileage. They had to look at their fuel economy rating, the price, sales tax, down payment, loans, taxes, registration. They had to look at all of that, including fuel cost per month if they are traveling to work.
I just chose to keep the car I have now because it's relatively cheap. And it does fit in with my budget. But my insurance will probably lower due to me being a new and young driver. It's kind of high right now, so it should lower by the older I get.
Macy, did your dad tell you that or your mom?
I chose to be poor for my entire life. I thought this would be a good idea. I don't pay anything in gas, and so two of those things are knocked out. Whatever it is, 50 grand. And I'll be making less than that a year.
And I'm still driving a piece of junk that I drove here. 06 Nissan Frontier, don't ever recommend buying one. I mean, the monthly payments would be really cheap, but that's just because the purchase price is really cheap. But if you don't want to spend an arm and a leg, well, both arms and both legs in gas, I would not recommend buying it.
All right, third part is actually in progress. They've already completed their part, but we have more students in the class, and that part is actually due tomorrow. But they have finished their end of it. They are buying a house or renting. They're supposed to determine the cost of purchase and own a home, so they are doing some research on things that are for sale right now in the area or for rent in the area they chose. Some of the things listed they had to gather. They are looking at an asking price, but they also have to do some calculations about if they put a % down, what their monthly mortgage payment's gonna be after a down payment, closing cost. They also have to account for a rule of thumb for maintenance costs, property taxes, insurance. So I'm gonna let them show you what they chose.
I just chose a house in Pembroke because it met more of my needs than the ones in Pearisburg that are currently on the market. And I'm able to afford this house, but this is also starting out at my job. So I might be able to afford something a little bit bigger than this because I would like to be able to raise my kids here in Giles County with it being a safe place for kids.
Okay. So I but this one can actually be justified. So while it is almost $1,900 a month, I don't have to pay many of the expenses that they'll have to pay. And in the area I chose, it is, I believe, 14% lower when it comes to renter's insurance. So I'm still gonna be poor, but maybe not as poor. I might have to sell my Tesla.
Okay, for simplicity purposes, I chose my uncle's house that he's trying to sell, which if any of you guys would like to have.
What are you doing marketing?
I mean, it's just a nice little house in town. It's not, to school or Walmart, wherever you might need to go. Plus, you're closer to Blacksburg if you need to go that way. So, I mean, it's expensive in the sense that it's expensive. I believe that with the profession I chose, that it should be doable.
All right, and then for part 4, which they will be completing in January, before the end of the semester, they have to put all these parts together and actually see if all the things they chose actually work and fit together, and determine if that salary covers their expenses. They're going to be putting in considerations also for utility costs of the house. They purchased food, phone, internet service, health insurance, any other additional expenses. And in conclusion, they'll be writing a summary to answer the questions of, does your salary really cover all of your expenses that you have to keep in mind? And they'll be creating a spreadsheet that kind of shows them whether they'll be in the red or the negative, or they're living in their car that they chose.
Nothing wrong with that.
But at the conclusion of this course, truthfully, a large part of it is financial literacy. They learn how to do annuities. They learn like retirement plans. They learn that kind of thing. We want them to be able to kind of open the door for whatever budget they choose, whatever career they choose. They can sustain that. So we thank you.
Wow.
Y'all have any questions?
Good job. I think we got to do that when we were in school, right?
No, I think they could offer to some grown-ups.
Maybe I'd like to take that course.
A lot of people need to take the credit card part.
Do what?
We do credit cards, like we talk about credit cards.
Yeah.
A lot of people could use that.
Cut them up?
That is great.
Yeah, that's pretty, good job, guys.
Good job.
Great.
Very nice. Thank you all.
Yeah.
All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Good.
Good job.
Very nice.
Pretty impressive. Good job. Yeah, we need to take that.
That's awesome.
Probably depressing, but also.
I was gonna say, but at least it curbs expectations a bit. So when they graduate from school, they're like, I thought we were gonna buy $500 million house in a big suburban. No.
Gas, right?
Turn it back over to you.
All right, so the adjusted agenda now has public comments. I'll go ahead and lay the ground rules for these. The Giles County School Board welcomes the public to its meetings and offers individuals an opportunity to address the board during public comments. Citizens are asked to follow the guidelines as established in the school division's regulations, KD-R/BDDH-R. Please refrain from discussing personnel items or naming specific students during public comments. For the record, please state your name and the subject of your remarks. Public comments are limited to 4 minutes per speaker, unless other prior approval has been given to waive the designated time limit, which for tonight, none of which have been approved for that. Dr. Arbogast will be keeping time, and just let's try to keep those rules in mind when presenting. This is public's time to make comment. First person we have signed up is Clyde Turner.
Good afternoon, my name is Clyde Turner. Thank you, Dr. Arbogast and school board members for letting me speak to you today. I would like to start out with reiterating on a couple of points that have been discussed in previous meetings. Number one, the combination of younger students with older students. It seems to be an issue with some of the board members. This is already happening in classes already. Our alternative education program has kids that are as young as in the 5th grade with seniors. And there are schools in the state that house kindergarten through 12th grade in the same building with no issues. Also, considering Eastern as a middle school and Macy as a elementary school, you need to think what your future meetings will be like. Like when your constituents on the eastern end of the county find out about this. There will be some long bus rides for the kids from the Montgomery County end to Macy, and the same for the kids from the Pulaski County end to the middle school of Eastern. Another issue with the long bus rides is after school events. Getting the children there in a timely fashion. They could be still on the bus when events are going on. If consolidation happens, or sporting events will be much further away, and that will mean that our kids that are not, their kids will be on the bus longer than what they are now. You need to consider the travel time for our students and how late they will be getting home, especially during events that happen during the week. Just want to point out that in 2019, graduating class from Harris High School graduated 75% of that class as honor students. Does block scheduling?
Mr. Turner, that's 4 minutes.
Okay, can I finish up with 4 things? 4 things need to do.
I can't do it. We gotta stick to the 4. I'm sorry.
4 things you need to do. Number 1 is,
We gotta be respectful to all the other public comment.
I was here a couple of weeks ago and Tom went over with a couple of them and there was no issue with that.
Clyde, let me just say, we're gonna be consistent on, we've talked about it as a board. If we give you extra time, we gotta give everybody that speaks extra time.
Okay. Better have them with the rest of them.
Next speaker is Corey Taylor.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Cora Taylor. I think most of you know me, but I'm a resident of Giles County and parent of 2 amazing daughters that attend Giles County Public Schools. I would like to read an excerpt from the 2016 released in 2017 study conducted by the Department of Education at the request of Dr. Arbogast as an efficiency study when our enrollment numbers were 195 more students than they are currently enrolled in Giles County schools, or 123 if you include pre-K. Please note, this study is not to be confused with the facility study. This study was conducted by the Department of Education. It states, and I quote, "In high schools with smaller enrollments, school divisions face difficulties in their efforts to provide a rich and diverse academic program. Smaller enrollments make it harder for a school division to adequately support academic programs that offer a varied number of course offerings, and this in turn can affect the opportunity for students to be exposed to diverse course offerings, including advanced courses. Consequently, the team felt that the school board should consider creating one centralized high school for the school division. By creating a central high school with a larger student body, the Giles County School Division will be able to expand its course offerings and provide all of its high school students the same opportunity to enroll in a wider variety of courses if they so choose," end quote. Considering that we look to the Department of Education to set our standards and guidelines, given this recommendation from 5 years ago, I am requesting that we continue our conversations and efforts towards consolidation of Giles and Nares High School. Currently, there are 9, soon to be 10, dual enrollment courses offered via in-person instruction at one high school that are not offered at the other high school. With that number alone, you have already provided 10 additional course offerings for your students regarding advancement opportunities, along with many elective courses offered at each high school. We put our middle school age students at a disadvantage to surrounding localities because we don't offer instruction for Algebra 1 at the 7th grade level without scoring at an advanced level on a placement test, because we do not have instruction opportunities in the 7th grade classrooms. However, having a middle school would create that opportunity. I know that emotions are high and people have a lot invested, but as John F. Kennedy stated, there are risk and cost to action, but they are far less than the long-range risk of comfortable inaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you.
Next speaker signed up is Emily Clem.
Thank you for letting me speak. I have some questions that I'm concerned about, and I sometimes think there's some hidden costs involved here that haven't been discussed. Have you decided on a new name for the new school if you should consolidate? I do not think it should be called Giles County High School, in fairness to both schools. Also, do you have any idea about the new colors that you're gonna have? There again, in our fairness to both schools, I do not think any of the 5 colors should be considered. Also, when you got to consider the cost of all new uniforms for all the sports teams, and also the cost of the new band uniforms. Also, you're gonna have a new mascot. And where would all the trophies come from both schools? Because both of the trophies should be considered equally displayed, not just one shifted someplace else. And also, you have the cost of repainting Giles High School if you go there, of changing the colors, it's already there. Have you considered those costs? Now, I'm not expecting you to give me answers tonight. I have made copies for all of y'all to answer, and I would like to have them in writing back to me if you would. And Mr. Steele, I have questions for you.
Okay.
You have always stated at the meetings I have been to, there should be no name calling and no mudslinging, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But did you not do that at the November meeting when you brought out Nara's name at that meeting? And I talked to you about this. And why is it okay for you to do it and not anybody else?
I have to give me a little more detail. Ms. Clem, I'm sorry.
Well, it had to do with the meetings that was conducted at Nara's High School over the last.
Oh, the original consolidation discussion meeting.
And you did bring out, that made the comment on Nara's and called out Nara's.
If that came across as me saying that the Narrows folks were the only ones that were.
Yes, it did, and also as if we were very rude and all, not being fair.
That was not my intent.
But there was other people there from the other school also that spoke there that was, and you did make it.
Yes, ma'am. That was not my intent. That was not my intent, and I apologize if that's how.
I think you owe, not apologies to me, I think you owe it to the Western District.
Okay, I apologize to the Western District if it came across in any negative manner. I apologize for that.
But you didn't ask me why did you think you could do it and we can't?
I don't know how to answer that question to get you satisfied. I'm just giving you my apology.
You don't have to satisfy me, you just have to give me an answer.
I'm not really sure I understand your question fully.
You don't understand why that I feel like that you are saying that you can do this, that you can say these things, but none of us out here are allowed to say anything.
Oh, I think you all say plenty. You
Yeah,
say plenty.
we do.
Yeah, I mean, I've not stopped that at all. You've been the majority of the speakers at these.
We have been the speakers, but I don't think they've really been calling out names that much.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it. And
yes, ma'am.
I do have copies for y'all, and you can either leave them, give them to me, or.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Clem, as part of the options we're studying,
And here's two for the other two.
those questions you asked, one would be something if we decided to go down a road where you resulted in consolidation of school, you have to figure out the mechanics of how those choices would be made. But we have asked for costs to do an estimate cost for rebranding as part of the answers from the school, from the administration, so.
But I think we need to know this.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, I just for.
This is beautiful cursive, and the younger folks would never be able to.
I know. I think it's a shame that they don't teach it anymore.
It is beautiful cursive.
But, well, my computer was broke. So, but I do appreciate your time.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Next speaker signed up is Bendy Schrader.
So good afternoon, and thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to speak. First, I would still like to express my support for the need of a track at Nares High School. Even if consolidation does take place, we're not going to be able to compete without a middle school track either way. Doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter what we think or what we want. It's all about the kids at this point. We've got to have that middle school to be able to compete when we get to a bigger level. So for the past several years, our athletes at the track have outnumbered most in our conference. For it to be said that our students and our athletes will be put first makes me shake my head. Every day of our practice, our track coaches put all of our athletes in danger of becoming seriously hurt the way it currently is. I have witnessed and had to call parents for those that have slipped, fell, and sustained injuries under the current conditions. Should not be this way. The last time I spoke, we were told that our athletes could practice on the Giles track since we were all Giles County. However, we attempted this and were turned away. I'm just going to leave this information right here since this is really not the reason I came to speak today. My family of four are all alumni of Giles High School, and all of us currently teach, coach, or volunteer at Nares High School. Believe me when I say that I understand where they're coming from. My concern is from a parent, substitute, and the future of a select few students on both ends of the county. You see, I have a child that is classified with a learning disability. In second grade, a wonderful teacher named Mary French took the time to notice her. She also informed me of the steps needed to take to get her the help that she needed. However, I was turned away by that administration and forced to take her to Virginia Tech to be tested. Even after test confirmed a diagnosis, she was denied help, and which I hope you know now is illegal. I fought every day for my child and refused to let her down. Repeatedly, we were denied help. I did not let her down. I sought out a child advocate lawyer, and I began to fight. It was only after the attorney came on board and many months of being told that she would never get the help requested that a phone call was made offering her help. Not to make it solely about my child, I'm trying to prove a point. If classrooms get bigger than they currently are, children like mine will be left behind with no future. There are parents that do not know their rights, and they trust what many in the administration tell them. Because I was not one of those parents, my child graduated with honors, earned a college track scholarship, and she recently graduated with her master's and begins employment tomorrow at Nares High School as a school-based clinician. If one teacher had not taken the time to notice her, she would be just a statistic. These children and those in these special ed programs can succeed in the real world. However, it does take someone to see that there's an issue. With 30 plus kids in one room, teachers will be overwhelmed and honestly just be lucky to get through the day. These individuals that are given the job of making a difference in the lives of children will only be able to do that to those that originally succeed in the classroom. There will never be enough time in the day to offer a little extra to those that may need the help. I praise God every day for Mary French. Had it not been for her, my child would be that statistic. Had I not been given my dad's temper and persistence, I would have taken the words, "It's Jerry Rader's school and he can run it however he deems it fit," and let it go. But I didn't, because I'm not that type of person, especially when it comes to children. I ask you to take a look at your children, and not just those that are on the honor roll, to see that they can make a difference in the world they're growing up in. They only need a little extra help to get there. Also knows that these children will make a better life for other children like them. My kids may never be rich, but obviously I've raised them to show empathy. I'm extremely proud to say that Dakota's a special ed teacher at Nares High School, and that Kirsten will be that school-based clinician at Nares. Both make a difference in the lives of these children every day. This, unfortunately, will not be an option with overcrowded classrooms and teachers who can barely keep up. Thank you.
All right, next on the list is Eli Fisher.
Well, I had to put a rock on your head. You keep on getting taller every time I see you.
For several months, I've been hearing many people talk about consolidation. I would like to give you a look at it from student view. The idea of consolidation has caused students, parents, and teachers to worry about the decision that you will make that will affect our future. Students are worried about adjusting to a new environment with new kids, parents are worried about their kids' education and opportunities, and teachers are worried about the possibility of losing their jobs. All these problems can simply be fixed by making a decision to keep things the way they are, or at the very least come up with a decision that will benefit everyone. This argument has been going on for months with no decision in sight. We need to come up with a decision soon to put everyone's mind at ease. The easiest solution is to leave the two schools separate and still offer the best education for all students. One way to do this is by keeping class sizes small at both schools. Having smaller classes makes it easier to ask questions and get the help you need. Some say we will have more opportunities by combining the schools, such as sports, clubs, and advanced classes. But will all students have the same opportunity, or will some miss out because it becomes more competitive? Some say by closing Nares High School, it will save the county money. But is it really worth saving some money to put the students' education in jeopardy? There are so many things that we will lose in the long run, our school and our community. Why can't we look at ways to spend our money more wisely? Even if there is no other way to cut costs, I'm sure taxpayers would rather see a rise in taxes go towards educating children rather than a school name change, colors, uniforms, etc. I feel like keeping both schools open would be better for everyone.
Thank
you. Next on the list is Nicole Price.
Well done, young man. Thank you. So I have 5 kids in or going into this school system. This conversation and the decisions made impacts me greatly now and for the next 18 years. For those that don't, that's me. For those that don't know, I work with words for a living. To be more precise, I work with words as related to education, both K-12 and higher ed. Even though it isn't my job title, strategic wordsmithing for the clearest communication is the essence of my daily full-time work. And as I said last month before I ran out of time, words matter. There should be much thought put into the words that we all say and write. Respectfully, the board has previously fallen short of leading with clear and open communication to the public, and unfortunately, this has led to a literal war of words filled with assumptions across the county that will take time to recover from, regardless of the decisions we make in the coming months about our buildings. This county practically needs a PR firm to do damage control at this point. It's that serious. Your words or lack thereof in these meetings have mattered and will continue to do so. The board is not responsible for the rumors flying around about intentions or plans, but you are responsible for owning the communication of your plans and where you are in the process ongoing. The fact that a group of citizens has felt the need to create a website and Facebook group to get the information out into the public is indicative of a systemic communication gap, and this needs to be fixed. This group should own that. You should be producing the information put out into the public, not just in these meetings. The questions that were asked by the public should have been asked and answered by you all as our elected leaders before the idea of an impending vote was ever broached to the public. I can see you all are trying to recover from that now and putting in the long hours and difficult work to determine the appropriate next steps for the future of our students. I'm hopeful that in the future we're going to see a unified front from the board as you unpack the extremely complex issues you are faced with. Now, to address the idea that no one from the central or eastern districts have shown up to the meetings to speak because we've had nothing to lose or simply haven't cared as much, I want to clear the air for everyone. The hypothesis is both right and wrong. Initially, you're correct. We had less to lose because we didn't face a building sitting empty. That actually was a catastrophic deal breaker, in my opinion, for what it's worth. I, however, believe that the idea that we care less is so wrong. In general, we are just as passionate. I love my Spartans. I am proud of our central and eastern schools, the faculty, the staff who love, teach, and nurture our children. GHS was very good to me, gave me a great springboard into life, and it, along with our incredible tech center, are providing a place for my oldest to thrive and grow in all aspects. He's involved in sports, clubs, and overall a happy and engaged child. He just so happens to date a green wave. Sometimes it seems like the kids get along better than the adults these days. I asked him, what would you think if consolidation happens and your colors and mascot have to change before you graduate or shortly thereafter? He looked at me like I was crazy and said, why would that matter? Gut check, it won't. It's the experiences, the memories, the friendships, and perhaps most importantly, the quality of the education that matters. Can we please start to focus on how to get the most quality educational experiences for our kids and make that the North Star of all conversations moving forward, both as a board and in the public. Let's also agree that for the most part, we all love our alma maters fiercely. We want traditions to continue and balance that with wanting progress and improvement. I asked the board to confirm once again that for the public, that if the high schools are consolidated in any configuration, full rebranding of both schools will happen. That's already been addressed by another speaker. There are people who don't believe that can or will happen. The kids are remarkable and resilient. Whatever building they are in, whatever colors they will wear, they will find opportunities to flourish and thrive. It is the board's job to enable that, and I want to believe you can do it. Your role is to be for the children and not against each other, so please prove me right.
Ms. Price, I think we're trying to get the documents out as far as the study. Would this thing go up this week?
Did not, because I've not received the updated one. I haven't checked my email while we're sitting here. I hope we get it today is what I'm
Okay. The previous study that we talked about, the CRA study, should be up.
It'll be up soon.
I'm a firm believer, unless we're in closed session about something, everybody's got the right to know. I mean, that's what we do with these elected positions. The sun should shine in, and
I can post the old one, or you gotta wait till the new one comes. That's what I was waiting on, but I was hoping I had it last week.
I can go ahead and post up. I mean,
We can do that. We can do that tomorrow or first thing Monday.
Unless.
No, the meat and potatoes of what the community has been curious about, that will start to answer a lot of those. The capacity issues, how many kids will be with each combination, but something that we're gonna have a hard time communicating to every person that would just decide they wanna look at that. At the last work session, we scrubbed several of those options that we won't be spending any more energy on.
And there's one option in there that we're considering that's not included in that study. And I hope folks, and especially Board of Supervisors and everybody, when they see the numbers on this, I hope we're looking at kind of a baseline would be keeping what we got. I think that's kind of the cheapest. Keeping the buildings we got in the current configuration is the cheapest option. But we're hopeful that the number that CRA put out will be higher than what it actually comes in at. Because honestly, the cost is astronomical. But that's kind of the bare minimum roofs and HVAC that need to be done on Nares High School, Giles High School, Macy, and some work at Eastern and the Tech Center.
So some of that data is perhaps going to cause some more anxiety if people don't know the whole story, because some of the options that are in that study aren't being considered as we move forward to flush out more data. So,
but they actually may explain when you see the numbers of some of the options that we considered and dropped. I mean, that's. Do you think the status quo is astronomical? Those are. Mr. Wright's class could really learn some budgeting there.
Okay, the final speaker we have signed up is Chucky Burracker. Good? Okay. Again, we thank everyone for continuing to provide public comment. We are absolutely open to do this as long as we need to. Public comment is needed. It's healthy. It gives us some feedback. I know we're not getting everybody, but we do encourage it. I would urge everybody that prepares to do that, and I apologize to Mr. Turner. I feel like I have to be the bad person. Please prepare your comments and time yourself. I have to stop you at 4 minutes. And I don't want to do.
I'll come by.
Okay, I don't want to treat anybody differently, and
If you just stop in here and I'll let people go over.
And we're doing the best we can. And I was praying that the student didn't go over, because I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to say?
I understand.
So just give us some flexibility. We're trying to do the best we can to make sure we keep things moving and we keep things to 4 minutes. So thanks for the patience and continue coming out. The next thing on the agenda is approval of the consent items, single vote, which include meeting minutes from work session November 3rd, 2022, financial data, which include bills, payroll, revenue, expenditure report, and appropriation requests.
I'll make that motion that we approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? I don't vote today. Every vote counts. Next, we have the superintendent's report. Dr. Arbogast.
Thanks, sir. At this time, I have some personnel items I need to ask the board to confirm. I need to ask the board to confirm the following resignation: Lena Fall, Mace McClarity, teacher assistant, effective December 20th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve the following employment: Clyde Turner, high school teacher assistant, effective December 1st. James Woodard, Mace McClarity, PE teacher, effective January 3rd. And Megan Miller, Mace McClarity, elementary teacher, effective January 3rd.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve the following athletic contracts: Abby Taylor, Nares High School varsity basketball cheer coach; Brittany Hudson, Giles High School JV girls head basketball; Jim Mahaney, Giles High School swim head coach; Austin Cooper, Giles High School boys varsity basketball head coach.
I'll make a motion to approve those contracts.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve the substitute list that you were provided as of this date.
Oh, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve that substitute list.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Are we getting some new subs signed up and stuff? So getting a little bit better?
Here and there. Yeah, we're getting.
I think we've got some of the kids on college break. It's doing some of them.
I'll do my instructional update, and we've already done the educational feature. So at this time, I need to ask the board to approve the policy revisions that you were provided.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Not open.
There, you can learn. Why did we mark out what we marked out? I assume we're not approving what we.
Correct. We don't have to, but it's conversations that I had with other superintendents in the area, that they had conversations with council, that some of those could be construed as sexually explicit. So if you have it in the policy, it didn't make sense to have it in the policy. Just refer them to the code. It's stated in the code.
Well, I know. Let's see.
But if you want to leave it there, we can leave it there.
But my problem with it, sexually explicit is not defined in the code, so I'd leave it there. It's what I'm seeing. We take out the definition, and nudity is defined. We use that. But if 18.2-390 it defined all those terms as sexually explicit materials, I think we would include all those terms that we marked out. But if we take that out, then we're not banning those terms from our policy. Nudity would be, but sadomasochistic abuse and some of the other things in there.
We can leave it in, that's fine.
So I mean, is the intent not to follow current
No, the
code?
intent was to make sure we didn't include sexually explicit material in a policy when we're saying we're gonna report sexually explicit material.
But we have to be educated and knowledgeable leaders. We can't stick our head in the sand if the definitions need to be clear.
I mean,
that's fine.
I just think if the code, we always try to stay in compliance with the code, because as soon as we start varying from that, we're stepping out on an island.
Yeah, we can include that. That's not a problem to include that. All that should be included.
All right. The only thing.
So you'll need to amend the motion to approve the policy.
I'll withdraw that.
With those items included.
All right.
We can just, it's been made, we can.
I just need to amend the motion.
All right, just make sure. And then the rationale on parent, the definition of parent, striking out or other person having control or charge of a child.
Is that one referencing Virginia Code too?
No, because that's criminal code.
Okay.
I mean, again, when I'm saying this stuff, I'm not giving legal advice to the board, just to be clear.
I guess I don't understand the intent of the group that you guys were talking. What is it, because of the language in that policy? So because we aren't going to accept any of that explicit sexual behavior, we're not allowed to define what that is, so that people know what they can't do.
The concern was code says we've got to report and let people know that if there's going to be sexually explicit material, and we're going to put sexually explicit material in a policy manual that goes out, are we going to notify everybody?
That's not, the legal definition of a policy manual, when we say what that term is not sexually explicit. I mean, if anybody said, I mean, that's.
This is it can be included. I don't have that's.
I would rather us include the policy as written, so that we never have an argument that sexual bestiality is not sexually explicit according to our policy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not a problem.
I mean, if we get dinged for that, for our policy being sexually explicit, I'll gladly go to court to defend that one.
At some point, you got to put your foot down.
That's right.
And put it down hard.
That's right.
So we're
different
watering
definitions
down
of
to the
sexual.
point that we can't stick to
Need a motion to amend the motion to approve it with those areas that were marked out to add.
Nobody reads our policy manual anyway.
So we can add.
not until it matters. And then-
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
probably,
assuming my amended request to the board to approve is the policy with all those sections included that were marked out. But you gotta.
I would move that my motion be amended to approve the policy as it came from the VSBA without Dr. Arbogast's, revisions.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Okay, so we've approved the amendment to the motion, now we've got to approve the amended motion. Any discussion?
Any further discussion on the amended motion? All those in favor? I certainly understand the thought behind that, Dr. Arbogast, and we're in a very precarious world right now, so we have to, it's our job to make the tough calls, so I appreciate the offer.
Not a problem. Are you comfortable with me keep going with what I need to ask? All right, I need to ask the board to approve the following athletic contracts. Tom Kellison, Giles High School boys basketball assistant. Steve Malik, Giles High School boys JV basketball head coach.
I'll make a motion to approve those. Sorry.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve the following field trip. Giles Tech Center, Heidi Sizemore, March 9th through 12th, 2023. It's the HOSA State Leadership Conference in Williamsburg, Virginia. 17 students.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Employment, need to ask the board to approve the following employment. Aaliyah Goodson, Mason McClary Elementary teacher, that's effective January 3rd.
I'll make a motion to approve Macy teacher.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve the following set of minutes that I believe you were provided or will be provided here. I think you already provided a copy of them, November 22nd, 2022 minutes. You had to receive that by email.
I'll make a motion to approve that. I wasn't here.
Should we table that until Ms. Wynn? Yeah, since you weren't there technically.
Yeah. I just said I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
After I said that, I was like, I wasn't here.
We can table that till January meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you know, we've had go a long way around to ask you this. We've had conversations about the literary fund and our project that we're talking about at Macy with the HVAC and roof. In order for us to submit an application for the literary fund, both the school board and the board of supervisors has to approve a resolution. To submit the application, we have to have those two resolutions. We have talked to ZMM. They are not ready. Thought they were ready to bid the projects this week. Had they bid the projects this week, we would not have been able to apply for the literary fund for that project. Because you cannot put it out to bid prior to submitting the application.
Or the equipment, at least, wouldn't be able to be covered by the
Or the
literary
equipment
fund.
would not be able to be covered.
Right.
But we had conversations with them, we had some changes we had to make on equipment, et cetera. They're not gonna be ready to bid till probably the middle of January at least for the equipment piece. So what I am asking the board is to approve the resolution to allow us to apply for the literary fund for the HVAC and roof replacement in Mason McClarty, and I'll read it. And then we'll let the board of supervisors know we did it, so they can do it the January 4th meeting. That way we have both resolutions and we can submit the application to the Literary Fund prior to this going out to bid.
And I had a question from one of the participants in our meeting the other day where we discussed that with the county. I just want to make sure I'm clear understanding, because I think I understood what you're saying. But if what our plan would be is, if we're approved for this, that we would reserve, considering this would be money coming, the Macy project cash funded, the monies that we didn't have to spend at that time, be our own carryover money and the state construction money, that those would be held back and that we would borrow. The borrowings would cover the loss of those funds or the saving of those funds going forward.
Yeah, and I guess with the hope would be also with the process we're going down with the ESCOs, that we can get into the same position with another facility and maybe utilize those, the construction funds or whatever, to help pay for those in the process as well.
I just wanted to be clear in case we're asked.
Do we have to do any kind of a reimbursement resolution, or does this cover that requirement? Because clearly we're going to expend funds and then reimburse ourselves when that would become available. But this may be enough to.
This is similar to what we did back in '08.
Okay.
When we applied for Eastern and the Tech Center. This resolution is very similar.
As long as the staff's comfortable that you've read through, and we absolutely can spend money before they award us money and pay ourselves back. So, okay.
So resolution reads, intent to apply for a loan from the Literary Fund for HVAC and roof replacement at Mason McClarty School, whereas Giles County Public Schools is a political subdivision organized and existing under the laws of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and whereas at a meeting of the Giles County School Board on Thursday, December 15th, the school board voted unanimously to apply for a loan from the Literary Fund for $7,850,000 for the purposes of financing HVAC equipment replacement / renovations and roof replacement / improvements to Mason McClarty, located at the address 1001 Henson Avenue, Pearisburg, Virginia. And whereas adequate and satisfactory supervision of construction will be provided by the school board, and whereas each expenditure will be a type properly chargeable to capital account under general federal income tax principles, determined in each case as of the date of the expenditure, and complies with all applicable Literary Fund regulations. This resolution will take effect immediately upon its passage.
I move that we approve the resolution as presented by Dr. Arbogast.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Any questions? I only have one, Dr. Arbogast. And listening to that description of work, is there enough ambiguity in there if we would need to do anything to improve the building for instructional changes, middle school or other? Is it ambiguous enough that we could do that, or is it just roof and HVAC?
So. What it says is it says HVAC and roof. It does not say, I think what you are asking, you would want it to say, a statement in there, something to the effect of financing, construction, and equipping of expansions, renovations, and improvements. Those was what I would assume you would want added to that.
I mean, I just want to make sure we're not handcuffed in any way on how we can spend this money.
I agree with that. So,
yeah, so let's do that so we have some flexibility to use that for whatever we need to do it for.
So you want,
because we got the white building and that, we might look at that stuff and find out we got to do something to replace those on-campus structures.
So you want it added to apply for a loan from the Literary Fund for $7.85 million for the purpose of financing HVAC equipment replacement, renovations, roof replacement, renovations, and or construction and equipping of expansions, renovations, and improvements.
Yes.
and it's, again, this is not, when I say we increase the number, do we have enough basis in the CRA report for other items other than that work?
So then what you're telling, to answer your question, 7.8 million does not include what you're asking. The 7.8 million includes what we anticipate the increase, the cost for the equipment, the HVAC and the roof are gonna be. So do we believe enough in the, we could, and then, so that would change, that would be 7.85 for this, and we'd have to look into that report and pull that dollar number out.
I think we've got to do that to give ourselves the best chance to, again, it may have nothing to do with consolidation. We may find out that there's some work that needs to be done where those white buildings are fully depreciated and we need to do a better job of providing better space for those particular students. I mean, I think, I don't know how to go about the 30,000 square feet seems to be something that keeps getting thrown. But I would refer to staff to scrub the report and see if there's a reasonable number that we can earmark. Again, if we only ask for 7.8 million and we decide later we want to spend 10, we didn't ask for enough. So that's what we're talking about right now.
Let me go back to, we talked when, in our board of supervisors about asking for maximum out both sites. I think before we do anything in between now and January, or whatever our deadline is, keeping that in mind, we need to have a better understanding of what maximizes our chance for success. I don't know how we get that, and we may not get it, but maximizes our chance for success and maximizing the loans that we can get from that 2% source.
The plan was to have this Macy ready to go, at least get the application in, and then following the January timeframe, we could then put together Giles High, Nares High, the others, and have you all do the resolutions in January, and we submit it by the February 10th due date.
So what's adding?
What's adding to this is that
we got to get that.
They're ready to put the equipment out to bid. They put the equipment out to bid, we can't include it.
Okay.
So that's the problem that we're.
Are we limited? I guess the other question is, are we limited to one project per site? In other words, could this be 1A and do you have a 1B?
I've not asked that question, so I don't know that I could answer you appropriately.
Well,
I know what we've provided in the past. Again, by all I can refer to back into 2008, when we did a resolution for Giles County Tech Center. It was for the maximum 7.5 million at that time.
All right.
For the construction, equipment expansion, renovation, improvements.
All right. I think if we change the language as Mr. Steele's suggesting, and given the fact that we've got extra funds that we're going to have to spend on this, that we can only spend on HVAC repair, and that I doubt we can get reimburse ourselves on a loan on, that if we did find another project regarding those white buildings, at least part of that could be rolled in where we've already paid for it with extra funds. So is that clear as mud?
Mm-hmm. So right now, I think we're back to being okay with you adding the language to give us some flexibility, but not changing the amount.
Yeah. We've increased the scope of the project, but we don't have a basis monetarily yet to determine whether that's going to be, but we do have a solid basis that we know that project could cost, the HVAC and roof could cost that much.
And if we have to cash fund something more that we find later, that just means that the less of that literary fully covers the whole project. We may have to eat in.
Let's just see.
Yeah.
Because right now, we're not talking about, we don't know about adding to that building.
No.
We don't, but
So we're applying for the literary fund for that. If we determine that we have to add to the building, we would go through the process of doing another application. But I don't know if we can do what you asked, if you can have two projects for the same building, or it has to be all one together. I'd have to ask that question.
I mean, we're still looking at, how much ESSER funds are we looking at as part of this project? A couple million?
Yeah, what, 2 million, 2 point something.
I mean, I've heard from Dr. Brown that regardless of what we do, there may be issues with the white buildings. Again, those are issues we'll have to consider as you're going forward. If we need to spend that money, what I'm saying is that gives us $2 million because of that. I doubt the ESSER funds, I don't think we could reimburse the conditions of that. I don't think we could reimburse ourselves from the literary loan.
No, you can't double dip.
Okay, so by doing that, we got $2 million in cushion.
That's what I was saying. If something comes up and the 7.9 doesn't cover our extra needs, then the ESSER money
is we're gonna, if
we would have reduced the overall project cost by that much already.
You got the ESSER money, ESSER 3, which is about 1.7, you got 400-some thousand for the HVAC grant, so you got 2 point something there.
So if the project was 11.9 million, then we'd use ESSER for what we could for HVAC, and the 7.9 later would pay the rest.
Yeah, well, we've got the language in there, and I'll need to include this language.
I feel comfortable.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
need
good.
to include this language in the application as well.
Okay.
Because I did not include it originally because we were talking HVAC, but I'll need to include it in there for any construction. Same thing.
I move that we amend my motion prior to include the revised language just discussed.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No change in amount.
No, sir.
Because we can change the amount and increase it. Okay. I just want to make sure I understood. To get it ready so you all can sign it at some point in time between now and the time we get it sent.
We don't have any reasonable justification for the other amount.
I don't want them to think we were putting in a frivolous application. One of our scoring criteria is gonna say we're ready to go. This project's teed up, you want us to spend the money, then we're your project. Not something high in the sky. I mean, we've got specs, we've got evaluation done, so that's.
That dollar amount that is included there is after talking to ZMM, Thursday, Tuesday, and with the anticipation that what we talked about may increase the cost from 7.4 to that amount there.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No.
Ms. Glenn, anything?
No, it's like these lawnmowers. Here we go.
A lot more expensive than lawnmowers.
All those in favor?
Beat a dead horse to death.
Just trying to maximize every dollar.
Update on enrollment. As of today, December 15th, our enrollment was 2,200 students. That's 2,192 in person, and that's an 8 in-county virtual right now. So that's an increase of 8 from November 1st. We also have 1,201 stride students. That's non-residential, full-time virtual students. That gives us a total of 3,401 students. I want to take the opportunity to congratulate students from Giles High School who auditioned for and earned a seat in the all-district bands. Junior concert band, Emily Thompson and Ellie Campbell. Junior symphonic band, Joanna Jackson and Evan McDonald. Senior concert band, Whitney Height, Ben Campbell, Marion Heights, and Samuel Baden. And senior symphonic band, TJ Stafford, Holly Fletcher, Eli Wiscarson, and Bobby Gallus. Congratulations to them. Also, to students from Narrows High School, congratulations to Xander Trent, Camden Newby, and Memphis Wagner for also being selected to all district bands. So congratulations to them, to those students for their recognitions. We've already mentioned to the board and congratulated our teachers of the year: Teresa Lowe, Narrows High School; Seth Davis, Eastern Elementary Middle School; Kelsey Lowe, Narrows Elementary Middle School; Luke Craig, Giles High School; and Emily Moy, Mason McClarity School. What I wanted to do is recognize Luke Craig was selected as the secondary teacher of the year, and Emily Moy was selected as the elementary teacher of the year. They went through the process yesterday with the committee to determine who would be the Giles County teacher of the year, and we will have a reception on January 5th. So unfortunately, everybody's going to have to wait till that time to find out who that is.
Cliffhanger.
I thought you were getting ready to come with it, Terry.
No, sir.
All right.
Honestly, I don't actually even know.
What time is that reception? I know you said something.
Was it 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock, okay.
Ham biscuits are always good.
Also want to recognize a couple of student athletes being recognized for the Class 1 Girls All-State Volleyball Team. Congratulations to Sophie Taylor, Jordan Lucas for Giles for making the first team All-State, and congratulations to Caitlin Steele for making second team All-State. So congratulations to those young ladies for that honor.
God, she got her mother's jeans.
Governor School update, just so you're aware, we did, a couple of, myself, Mr. Graham from Radford City, the Governor School Director and Assistant Director went over and visited Radford University to see where they were thinking about housing the program. Radford University is still very interested. It was good to see what they had available. It was nice to see what they had available. So what we're going to do is going to work on a date to get the Governor School Board members to visit, those that are available to visit the site there at Radford University, as well as the other division superintendents to see what they have available, what they're offering, so that they have information available to be able to make the decision. New River Community College, they're still very interested. We met with them again yesterday as well, got to put some questions answered. They're also they're interested in having individuals come visit the site so they can see what they're going to be able to offer, and we'll be able to, again, have the information that's necessary. And we meet with Whitfield Community College representatives tomorrow afternoon around 2. So things continue to move in a pretty good direction with that. Couple items I need to ask the board to consider so we can make some decisions about moving forward with them. One is a product called Board Docs. That's through, I think, VSBA works with that. What that would do is streamline the process for you all to get your board minutes, board packets, etc. In a timely fashion. Instead of having to provide you a jump drive every time as our board clerk updates the agenda or anything in the agenda or adds anything else, you would see it real time, and it would be on a secure site that you would have your own login and password to be able to access that. It would also have our school board policies on there to be able to reference, and it would have access and the ability to take minutes and that sort of thing. So that's the version we're looking at is $3,000.
Would that include, because I've looked at Montgomery counties before, would the plan be to use this also that for all all public, not non-public agenda items and board packet meant that the public could access that too?
It'd be for whatever whatever.
Okay.
That's at least what I would think it'd be for whatever we can use it for.
I
Help streamline things for what we're doing.
I think that would be awesome.
On all these papers, just all this paper.
Well, and if people are at home watching or want to check back in later, all the things we've talked about and approved, the finances, the bills, all that information would be available to them to see. So
I just want to make sure you're aware that we're going to sign something and try to get started. But again, this is the baseline version.
So do they have to give us a number each year?
It's $3,000. It's $3,000 each year.
Software as a service.
There is a implementation fee, but they're going to waive that if we sign by December 31st, I think.
Somebody's got to make a sale before end of Christmas.
Yeah, you're going to say the same thing over the next two items that I talked to you about as well.
So does the language give us? They have to. I mean, once we get used to this and like it, my fear is, and what happens at my office, you start to learn you have to live. You can't live without that software. Then they can come back and just keep increasing the price. I guess we get a chance to.
We would have to
discuss that each year.
We're signing a yearly.
Okay.
I would think it's a yearly. I'm not
do have it here.
Do we get a better deal if we do more than 1 year?
We can't commit ourselves, I mean, we could commit to paying by year for a longer period, but we've got to commit to paying by year. We can't.
Otherwise it'd be a bond.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, see here what they say in here. Run for 1 year.
Okay.
Section C, let's see, yeah, well. I don't see the dates listed here.
That's all right. Anything to make it easy for the public to navigate our webpage for stuff like that would be very helpful.
Like I said, I've used some other school divisions and they use it and it's very user friendly.
I believe she told us that, I've got to think about which person told us that. Did she say 100 school divisions? 100 school divisions are using some version of board docs. That's out of 133. So.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we enter that contract with board docs.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Next two are also dealing with asking you to make you aware and ask you to make sure that you're comfortable with us spending the money. First one, I don't know if you know or realize that we can currently use what's called Performance Matters for our benchmark testing as part of the comprehensive school improvement process or program with Region 7. It's cumbersome to utilize, and many divisions, I think we're one of the last few that are still using it. We would like to move to Mastery Connect, which is very similar to a program that we used prior to going to Performance Matters. Now it will be, the yearly cost will be similar. Again, as I shared, there's a implementation cost and professional development cost associated with moving to this program. So the total that for this program moving to the Mastery Connect would be just over $41,000.
Did a comma get moved to the wrong place?
No, sir.
When does our current contract with the other program that we're replacing, when does it run out?
It's July 1. We typically pay in March, typically.
What are we paying for that one?
It's still right around
It's $18,000.
That's why I say the yearly cost is the same. The additional cost is the training and the access to it early to start getting it ready so that it's ready to go, so the teachers can be trained and have it ready to go in July.
So it will be implemented. We're not cutting the other one off early and eating that.
No, that one's still gonna be utilized, but we're gonna start moving the process along to get names and stuff into this and professional development later in the spring so that it's ready to go next year.
When do you need direction on this, Dr. Rodriguez? That amount of money, I might wanna have other two board members maybe have a chance to be part of that, but if we're getting ready to run out of service from the other.
No, we're not running out of service of the other.
I mean, what do y'all think? That's not a $3,000 number. I don't know if they would want any input on that or not.
I've got it.
Yeah, but we need to do it like in January or so. We need to be able to provide the training to our staff.
Okay.
So when
would our contract with this one start? Would it be a July 1?
Yes, the fiscal year.
Yes, July.
Okay, so essentially the net effect to our budget is the training cost of what, 22?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's one time, that
The
won't.
training cost is one time, you won't pay it again, you'll pay the yearly 19,000, or is it 18,720?
Which is similar to what we're paying now?
now.
Okay, that's a little better.
But again, it provides us early access to this to be able to start moving things towards it, getting on the schedule to get training set up, get the virtual training, get individuals to come, et cetera.
Does it help us get like 2 extra hours out of the 3 of you per day?
I don't think it does. I don't see that anywhere.
No.
I don't know, what do y'all, what's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve it if we're gonna have to.
I'll second that. I mean, I don't think you guys asked for a whole lot, and when you think it's important that we do this, I feel like we need to honor your.
Well, I think, yeah, I think it's more like what we had before, and the teachers are gonna, at least that's.
Well, maybe just a really high level presentation of what that's gonna do for us at the next work session. So we can explain what that does.
We can schedule with the,
Nothing more than about 20 minutes. I'm just saying something so we can explain what
we can have it set up.
wonderful new technology and what it's doing for our instructional delivery.
We can do that.
Okay.
I guess I better.
We gotta,
Oh, sorry.
I'll withdraw the motion.
No, you wasn't going, you didn't ask him to withdraw, did you?
no.
Oh, you didn't ask me?
No, I said we're gonna go with
We're
it.
gonna
but
go with
the
it, but
January
just-
work
Oh,
session-
you're gonna explain it after we've approved it?
Yeah.
I thought you were wanting, yeah.
No. I just want to be able to.
Well, if you said no, we
Explain
couldn't
why.
approve it anyway. But. All right, I'll renew my motion, though.
We got a motion
And I second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
That's why he's gonna ask for more.
Oh, gosh. Spread these out.
I hope you ask the most important ones first. It is Christmas, but inflation's getting us.
I understand. Again, I don't know, I believe you're aware that we use or utilize a product called Unified Talent to do our or get our applications, post our vacancies, go through our interview process, et cetera. We already have that. There is a piece of that, there's an add-on to that would allow us to continue the process with the new prospective employee. Instead of printing off 30 pages, Amanda or Barbara or Jason Campbell having to print off a bunch of stuff and track down, getting applications and all this other stuff filled back in. We can have that all there so that as soon as somebody is ready to be hired, Amanda can push a button. Those documents go to those individuals, and those individuals we can track. Okay, they've completed the W-9 form, they've looked at this document, they haven't done it yet, they've not done this one, we can send out a reminder, you need to have this submitted by such and such a date. You need to have this done by such and such a date. Also, as part of that, it will allow us to upload our current employees, and we'll be able to continue to have a database of who our employees are and that sort of thing. It'll also allow us to do contracts and send contracts out and sent directly to the employees, like we do it now through email. This will send it out to the employee. We can see when the employee views it, we can see that the employee signed it. They can sign it electronically, or they can print it and send it in to us. It's gonna streamline the process for Jason, Barbara, and some for Amanda as well.
What's the cost?
Again, the yearly cost is $10,792. There is an initial fee of just over $5,500 to get it started up, get people moved in, get forms added and that sort of stuff. And this is a reduced cost for current.
Do you feel like this will aid us in the attraction and retention of our talent?
I don't know that it.
I mean, are we clunky when we get stuff out to prospective employees?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of the paperwork. They're doing doing paperwork, tracking down paperwork. This will allow to free them up to be able to again, I'm just telling you, it's just going to free up them to do things that they need to do with the employees.
How much are we spending now?
I don't know off the top of my head, I don't remember what unified talent is, I don't remember what that is. I don't remember that cost.
Will it make it easier on our staff on the other side of that to current employees get the stuff back in, make their lives a little easier?
Yeah.
Okay.
It brings us into the
Okay.
time that we're in, instead of worrying about printing off again.
And if it's something that would help Barbara, she's very, Barbara's very efficient, and if it's something that she says will help her.
She.
And contract.
I don't like speaking for Barbara, don't like speaking for others, but she would seem to be very excited about it when she heard about it and took part in the presentation the other day.
And the work that she does, we all know what she does.
She spends a lot of time.
Right.
And again, the reason that we're asking you to do this, again, I don't like asking you to do it and approve it, but it's a 4 to 5 month lead time to get some of this stuff done.
I understand.
So you want me to
And
make that motion?
by the time they have it ready, we're gonna be ready to get contracts out, so we need to, that's why we're asking at this point in time.
I think anything that eases our employees' ability to continue to work for us is a great thing.
So I'm gonna make that a motion to approve that.
I'll second that.
Mr. Steele?
Further discussion? Just
Motion and a second. Any discussion? No, for future, you would,
I realize that that's.
I would like to see this kind of stuff at the work session.
Well, I tried to give you a heads up earlier today. To get
Okay.
Yes, and because you did, you emailed us.
Yeah, it's just, it lets us have
information before.
and while it's entertaining for the folks watching to see us squirm around up here and try to not approve or approve stuff, it would be it'd be nicer to talk about it a little bit, I
understand that.
That's all I got. Anything else? All those in favor?
Meeting dates.
All right, I was looking at the work session. If we're having the teacher reception
Yeah.
on the 5th, can we do the work session earlier that day up to that 4 o'clock? Unless some folks weren't gonna be coming to that.
I could do that.
Ms. Gwen?
I can do that, the 5th. So what time?
Let's just say 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
Hope to gosh, we aren't here for 3 hours though.
We can talk that long, but we usually start getting unproductive after about 2.
About 1.
What do y'all have, Dr. Arbogast?
I'm all right. I'm out of town. He's out of town.
Okay. Ms. Mustaine, is that?
I would be happy to read that thing.
I'll have to take that one.
Yeah, I don't know, that didn't have some sarcasm. That's okay. All right, so.
1 o'clock on the 5th for our work session?
Yes.
We will have the meeting, I'm sure, with the 2 board of supervisors members on January 4th at 1 o'clock. So I'll let you all determine who that will be, and I'll communicate with Mr. McClarty to make sure and verify that, but I'm pretty sure we said we're gonna continue the meeting. We're now getting into the start of budget season, we'll probably need to make sure that we do meet those times.
I'm good for that if somebody else wants to.
I got a ball game, so.
Okay.
I'm good for it, so.
Okay,
Terry,
then I'll just communicate with you two and.
Yeah, I mean, we can continue to put it out there like Monday of that week to see if Mark or Philip want to be included, but you got to.
That's fine.
If they don't.
Got you covered. School board meeting, January 19th. That's where, at least I say the third Thursday is what we've historically done.
The organizational meeting one.
It will. And that one will be 4:30 or a 6. If we follow back and forth, it'll be a 6. Is that a 6 o'clock?
It's up to y'all.
Let's do it 6.
Sorry, it's checking the weather.
Don't let us interrupt you, Ms. Mustang.
So 6 o'clock on January 19th.
Yes. pending Mr. Pennington and Mr. Will
being available.
Yeah.
I think Philip's vacations are done for a little while. As he was messaging me during the meeting.
I think that's it, Dr. Arbogast, unless something else comes up in between those.
I hope when others are on vacation and there's a school board meeting going on that they don't watch the school board meeting because it doesn't sound like a good vacation.
No.
Well, I did watch the last one on the way home on my trip.
No, the only other thing I have is want to thank, again, Giles Tech Center, Ms. Riley, Mr. White, the students, Giles High School, Mrs. Wright, Ms. Boggess, the students for being here doing the educational features. It's always nice to see the students and hear what the activities going on in the buildings. Thank y'all.
Mark's not here, he's gonna adjourn.
We're going to do closing comments.
They got their comments.
Is that it?
I'm done, yes, sir. I'm going to close.
Ms. Gwynn, is the last meeting of the year?
Again, Katie, I really did enjoy that. You know, and it is really the best part of our job is when we get to see the kids, you know, because it's really about them. And we get to see, and Miss Riley, and she puts so much into it, and just like Katie. So I do appreciate when we get to watch that. And so I missed the last meeting, and I noticed on the notes there that we did congratulate the theater team, both theater teams. And if you've never been to watch that, to watch them perform, it really is amazing. I went to the super regionals that they had in theirs because I missed their performance. And I'm telling you, it is amazing what they do and the work that they put into it, you know, and I love it that we offer different things for kids. Not everybody likes sports, you know, I mean, of course, I'm a big sports fan, but to see our kids doing different things, getting out, kids that you would not think that would get up there in front of people and perform like that. It's pretty amazing. So I just want to congratulate Giles and Nares for their work and their theater, their directors. They do a great job. And kind of going back, like a little something like with Nicole, I apologize that sometimes that we don't maybe act like we should, and I don't think we intentionally mean that. So speaking for myself, it's kind of really just been a bam, just kind of hit you in the face, as Mr. Steele and I discussed before. This was just kind of balled up, and so I don't feel like, you know, being prepared and being able to answer questions. So I apologize for that. But on that note, I do want to thank Terry and Lisa and Amanda, all them, because I think with all of this, we have put a lot of work on them, a tremendous amount of work. And I say with this board, and I'm speaking for myself, sometimes it's never enough. We ask for more and more and more and more. So I do appreciate what they've done, and it has been a daunting task because trying to please everybody is impossible, as we can all, you know, tell. I mean, it's not been a fun part of my job, I can tell you that. I thought to get through COVID, you know, we got through COVID, and I thought, well, we got through COVID, we still are not through COVID. We're going back with all that, but then now we're working on this, and sometimes I think there's so much other stuff we need to be working on and focusing on. So with that being said, I just want to thank them for all the work that you're doing, and every time when I appreciate people coming and speaking, you know, I do, I appreciate that. But I really do want to thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you.
And that's kind of all I have to say.
Glad to see everybody here. I want to echo Melissa's thoughts again with the work you guys put in, the work you put in on, you know, just this Macy project that, you know, hopefully we don't have to worry another winter, probably going to be 2 winters from now, but another winter of boiler going down or an air conditioner going down. And I'm glad of that. Our kids deserve safe, dry, warm, climate-controlled schools. You know, again, I want to thank Melissa and the folks in Nares Athletic Fund. It was great to see Bland and James Monroe, and then Giles and Nares in the Christmas tournament. That's a great event.
It was a great tournament. It really was.
Great to see all those kids compete. You know, Actually, even though it's not Giles County Schools, I'd like to at least send congratulations to Lisa's husband, John, for the great season James Monroe had. Look forward to competing against them next year, both schools. Thanks again today. You guys did a great job on the delay. Thanks for our bus drivers getting everybody here to school safely when it's a little bit slick, and parents for dealing with the frustration of changed as we're getting into that season of weather, and everybody within the schools for dealing with those schedules. Guess we're kind of widening down for the 2022. I hope we have a great 2023. Look forward to that. And thanks for, again, teachers, staffs, janitors, bus drivers, everybody, all their work that they do to make us have a great school system.
All right. I just want to thank everybody in the community for continuing to be patient and compassionate and support in your own way. I know that we're never probably always all together going to agree on every single thing, but some of the public comments today were very well crafted in that we do need to focus on educational quality and what's actually best for the kids. And I think the consolidation.com page is trying hard to answer questions as they come in. I have spoken with some leaders there that I would like to have a few minutes with them and sit down with them, and they acted like they would be amenable to that. As the questions come in, all I'll say to those leaders is the quicker you can answer them and get responses back that look like they're taking everybody's consideration in the entire county, then the more traction you're going to get for everybody to truly believe that that's telling the story. And I think one of the comments were we should be doing that ourselves. I think as quickly as we're getting information that is ironclad, that is not one of the board members' opinions, that's actually truly backed, like the report that's going on our webpage, that's the stuff we're going to be releasing. We can't be given opinions after every board and work session meeting. That's not what the public deserves out of us as leadership. So I know you want us to move more quickly, but we are getting on task. We've zeroed down to options, and so that should be forthcoming. Each board meeting and work session should give you more information. But continue that conversation. I know I see a lot of people asking that consolidation.com questions and clarifications, and sometimes it's really good to get that data out there. I do want to thank all the teachers for doing what they've done all year. We came into a year with 2 years of instruction lost. And everybody just put their kids back in the building and said, looks like everything's A-okay now. And they have no idea what you guys have been wrestling with internally. Because while we understand that maybe we just lost those 2 years, you guys will relentlessly try to get those back. Even when the state says it's okay, we'll relieve what we expect our U.S. kids to be able to do, you guys will never stop. And for that, I appreciate your tenacity. I don't know if people understand the amount of mental strain that's put on you because you've had to some extent, accept and keep pushing. You'll never stop because you're the kid's best advocate. So thank you for that. Thanks for the bus drivers. Thank you all for all that you're doing. And we do ask a lot of you, but we just gave you like 30 grand today.
40.
So $40,000.
50 actually. 50.
And yeah, just everybody keep doing what they're doing. This is an awesome county we live in, and I still think it's the greatest place on earth to raise kids and grow up and
Absolutely.
bring your family up. So with that, I'll have to let Mr. Wilburn be replaced by somebody.
I'm moving to adjourn.
There you go.
Second.
That was what my,
Those in favor?
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hope everybody has a nice Christmas break.
Ooh, Lord, 4. Well, and I think I bought my clothes to, I hope